The young athletes at FitLife Gym started smiling when they saw Sarah Williams. The 45-year-old woman appeared overweight, wearing worn-out workout clothes. "What is this woman doing here?" they whispered. They started recording videos. They didn't know that Sarah had 3 gold medals from the 1996 Atlanta Olympics sitting in her closet at home. FitLife Gym in Los Angeles was one of the city's most prestigious fitness centers. With its modern equipment, neon lights, and perfect spaces for social media, it had become the favorite spot for young influencers and fitness models. Every corner was filled with people taking selfies, sharing workout videos, and showing off their bodies. That Tuesday morning, Sarah Williams quietly entered the gym. The 45-year-old woman wore a worn gray sweatshirt and old black leggings. Her shoes looked like vintage Nike Air models from years ago. Her hair was pulled back in a simple ponytail, and her makeup-free face showed the signs of her age. The young athletes training in the main gym area noticed Sarah. Fitness influencer Megan Torres, who had over 100K followers on Instagram, was the first to comment. "Wow, look at this," she whispered to her friend Brad. "Is this woman really going to work out here?" Brad Thompson, 25 years old, was a professional bodybuilder who had recently placed second in a men's physique competition. He looked at Sarah and shook his head. "These types of people become motivation killers," Brad said. "When people see someone unfit, they give up on their own goals." The other athletes nearby had also turned their attention to Sarah. Jenny Walsh, a Pilates instructor, took out her phone. "This could be an inspiration video," she said with a smile, "like before and after. We'll write something like, 'Every journey starts somewhere.'" Sarah could hear all these conversations but didn't react. She went to her locker, opened her gym bag, and began organizing her equipment. She methodically arranged her gloves, lifting belt and water bottle. "Guys, let's record a video," Megan said excitedly. "This is content gold. We could do something like middle-aged woman's gym struggle." Brad started a live video. "Hey, fitness family, today I'm going to share a special moment with you. Sometimes we see lack of motivation at the gym, but..." Sarah noticed they were recording but still didn't say anything. She walked to the weight section and stood next to the Olympic barbell. She tested the bar with her hands, checking her grip. "Oh no," Jenny whispered. "Now she's going to try lifting weights. This could be dangerous." Gym owner Mike Rodriguez was watching from afar. He was carefully tracking Sarah's every move, as if he recognized her. Sarah added 135 pounds to the bar. The young athlete started smiling. 135? Seriously? Brad said, turning to the camera. "I used 225 for warm-up." But there was something different about Sarah's posture. Professional stance, perfect form, confident grip, as if she had done this movement thousands of times. Mike Rodriguez approached and quietly said, "Guys, maybe you should stop recording." "Why?" Megan asked. "This is educational content." Mike just smiled. "Just wait and see." Sarah took a breath, got into position, and prepared to lift the bar. At that moment, everyone in the gym was curious about what she would do. 29 years ago, at the Atlanta Olympics, Sarah Williams was only 16 years old. She had made history as the youngest member of the United States women's weightlifting team. At that time, she competed in the 52-kilogram category, breaking world records and earning everyone's admiration. In Atlanta, she won her first gold medal in the snatch. She had delivered an unprecedented performance by lifting 95 kilograms. Her second gold medal came in the clean and jerk, setting a new world record with 120 kilograms. Her third gold medal was in the total category, making Olympic history with a total of 215 kilograms. Sports writers had called her the Wonder Girl. She appeared on the cover of Sports Illustrated, signed a major sponsorship deal with Nike, and was seen as the Olympic favorite for the next decade. But life had different plans for Sarah. A back injury during training in 1998 had deeply affected her career. Surgery, physical therapy, another surgery. She had struggled for 2 years but couldn't participate in the 2000 Sydney Olympics. When she announced her retirement in 2001, she was only 21 years old. The sports world was shocked. One of its brightest stars was saying goodbye at the peak of her career. The following years had been difficult for Sarah. Depression, weight gain, social isolation. The transition from Olympic champion identity to ordinary woman identity hadn't been easy. She had worked in physiotherapy, taken care of patients in a small clinic, and tried to quietly continue her life. She had married and divorced. She had tried to have children but couldn't. Her friends were looking for the old Sarah, but that Sarah no longer existed. In her place was a woman struggling with the difficulties of daily life, carrying the weight of the past on her shoulders. For the past 5 years, she had been working as a physical therapy assistant in LA. She lived in a modest apartment and didn't tell anyone about her past. Her Olympic medals sat in a box at home, unseen by anyone. But something had begun to change in the past 6 months. She had started to miss the feeling of old strength in her body. Doctors had said her back was now stable. Maybe it was time to try again, just for herself. When she became a member of Fit Life Gym, she had given her real name, but no one knew who Sarah Williams was. Children born in 1996 were now 29 years old. For the Instagram generation, the Atlanta Olympics were ancient history. Sarah didn't blame them, but sometimes when she felt her old strength, when she held that barbell in her hands, it was as if time returned to 1996. In those days, 50,000 people cheered for her. Every kilogram she lifted for her country made history. Now, she was just quietly, for herself, trying to experience that old feeling. Mike Rodriguez had recognized her when he first saw her. He was a former weightlifting coach and had watched Sarah's performances in Atlanta live, but he hadn't told Sarah. He wanted to protect the woman's privacy. Today, however, he felt that Sarah was finally ready. He was about to witness the amazement of those young athletes. Sarah stood in front of the bar, looked at the 135 pounds, and smiled. This weight felt like a warm-up to her. While the young athletes waited with phone cameras, Sarah was preparing mentally. The first movement was a simple deadlift. Sarah gripped the bar, took position with perfect form, and lifted the weight as if nothing was there. Smooth, controlled, effortless. Not bad for a beginner, Brad said, but there was doubt in his voice. Sarah put the bar down and added 25 more pounds, 160 pounds. She lifted it again, still with perfect form. This time the young athletes were watching more carefully. "Wait," Jenny said. "How is this woman lifting so easily?" Sarah didn't stop. She did 185 pounds, then 205. Every rep was perfect, every movement controlled. Now other people in the gym had turned their attention as well. Megan had to stop her video recording. "Guys, this wasn't expected." Sarah moved to 225 pounds, Brad's warm-up weight. She lifted it as if lifting a feather. Brad's eyes widened. "Yo, this is crazy," he whispered. But Sarah was just getting started. She added 245 pounds to the bar. This was a weight that even the most advanced lifters in the gym would struggle with. Sarah got into position. Mike Rodriguez approached and quietly said to the other members, "You guys might want to pay attention to this." When Sarah lifted 245, there was silence in the gym. Clean, powerful, controlled. Her professional technique was unmistakable. "Holy shit," Brad said. "Who is this woman?" Sarah moved to 265 pounds. Now, all activity in the gym had stopped. Everyone was watching Sarah. This was a level that normal people couldn't lift. The lift was perfect. Sarah was controlled even when putting the bar down. "Okay," Megan said, completely lowering her phone. "We need to apologize." But Sarah wasn't finished yet. She switched to the Olympic barbell and began changing the weight plates. She set up 285 pounds. 20 pounds above Brad's maximum deadlift. "Ma'am," Brad said, approaching, "maybe we should talk first." Sarah looked up at Brad. There was kindness in her eyes, but also a determined expression. "It's okay," she said in a calm voice. "I know what I'm doing." When she lifted 285 pounds, there was complete silence in the gym. This wasn't just strength, this was artistry. Years of professional training, perfect technique, muscle memory. Jenny had completely shut off her phone. "We messed up," she whispered. Sarah moved to 305 pounds. At this point, even the advanced lifters in the gym were in shock. She was displaying elite-level performance. Mike Rodriguez couldn't stand it anymore. He approached Sarah and respectfully said, "Sarah, maybe it's time they knew." Sarah put down the bar, cleaned her hands with a towel, and turned to the group. "Hi," she said simply. "I'm Sarah Williams." "Should we know that name?" Megan asked politely. Mike Rodriguez smiled. Google Sarah Williams Atlanta 1996 Olympics. Brad immediately took out his phone and searched. His eyes widened. "Oh my God," he said in a whisper. "Guys, she's an Olympic gold medalist, 3 gold medals, weightlifting." Now everyone had taken out their phones, searching. Sarah's photos, videos, news articles. "You're the Sarah Williams?" Jenny said incredulously. Sarah nodded modestly. That was a long time ago. On Brad's phone screen, a photo of Sarah's 16-year-old self was shining. The 1996 Atlanta Olympics, a young girl smiling on the podium with 3 gold medals. It was hard to believe she was the same person as the 45-year-old woman standing in front of him. Wait, Megan said in amazement. "Are you really that Sarah Williams? The one who broke world records in Atlanta 96? Sarah nodded. "Yes, that's me." Jenny had found Sarah's old videos on Google. "Guys, look at this. She's doing 120 kilograms clean and jerk at 16 years old. This is insane." Other gym members were also starting to approach. Word was spreading quickly. There was a real Olympic champion among them. "But why?" Brad stammered. "I mean, why didn't you ever say anything?" Sarah replied while folding her towel. "Because that's in the past. I'm trying to live a normal life now." Mike Rodriguez intervened. "Sarah, I recognized you when I first saw you, but I respected your privacy." "How did you recognize her?" Megan asked. "I was a junior weightlifting coach back then," Mike explained. "I watched Sarah's performance in Atlanta live. Those lifts were legendary." Jenny had found Sarah's Olympic highlights on her phone. "Oh my God, look at this! Sports Illustrated cover, Nike contracts, everything!" "What happened then?" Brad asked. "Why did you quit?" Sarah's face became a bit sad. "Injury. I hurt my back in 1998. I had treatment for 2 years, but it wasn't the same. I couldn't participate in the 2000 Olympics." "That's so sad," Jenny said genuinely. "Life is like that," Sarah shrugged, "but I've started training again for the past 6 months, just for myself." Brad realized how wrong they had been. "Sarah, we really sorry. We were very disrespectful to you." "We were total jerks," Megan added. "We tried to record videos and mock you." Sarah laughed. "It's okay. When I was your age, I would have been very judgmental too. Experience teaches humility." "But you're a legend," Jenny said excitedly. "Why doesn't anyone recognize you?" "Because 29 years have passed since 1996, Sarah explained. "You weren't even born then, and I deliberately try to live a low profile." Mike Rodriguez turned to Sarah. "Maybe it's time now. These young athletes could learn a lot from you." "What do you mean?" Brad asked. "Sarah's technique, dedication, mental approach, these could be teaching moments," Mike explained. Sarah thought. "Maybe, but I don't want attention." "Not attention," Megan said. "Inspiration. We judged you wrong, but you taught us a lesson. Character, resilience, comeback." "Exactly," Brad agreed. "You showed us what real strength is, not physical, but mental." Sarah smiled. "Maybe I could do 1 or 2 teaching sessions, but promise me, no social media drama." "Promise," they all said together. Jenny asked, "Sarah, do you still have those medals?" Sarah blinked. "At home in a box. I haven't looked at them in a long time." "Maybe it's time," Mike said softly. Sarah thought, maybe it really was time. 2 weeks later, Fit Life Gym had become a completely different place. News that Sarah Williams was training there had spread slowly, but as Sarah wanted, it hadn't made it to the media. It remained only as a respectful rumor among gym members. Sarah now came 3 times a week and provided informal coaching to those who wanted it. The young athletes called her Coach Sarah, but never used Olympic champion or other grandiose titles. Brad's lifting technique had improved dramatically. Sarah had taught him proper form, explaining the importance of controlled movement instead of ego lifting. "Strength isn't just numbers," Sarah had said. "Consistency, patience, respect for the process, that's more important." Megan now shared technique videos instead of motivational quotes at the gym. She told her followers she had found a real fitness role model, but didn't reveal Sarah's identity. Jenny was learning not just lifting, but life balance from Sarah. "Fame is temporary," Sarah had said, "but character is permanent. When I won those medals, I thought life would be easy. But the real challenges started afterward. A new culture had formed in the gym. People were respectful, not judgmental. Beginners were helped, body shaming was completely eliminated. Sarah's biggest impact was on a 19-year-old college student named Lisa Chen. Lisa was overweight and afraid to come to the gym. Sarah had taken her under her wing, teaching not just exercise but self-confidence. "I also looked small and weak at 16, Sarah had told Lisa. "Everyone doubted me, but I knew I was strong inside. You know it too." A month later, Lisa had lost 20 pounds, but more importantly, she walked confidently. Sarah's influence was pure motivation. Mike Rodriguez had offered Sarah an official coaching position, but Sarah had declined. "This isn't my calling," she had said. "I just want to give back." One day when Sarah came to the gym, she found a small gift package in her locker. Inside were handwritten notes from Brad, Megan, Jenny, and other regular members. "Dear Sarah," Brad had written, "you taught us humility, respect, and what real strength is. Even without shiny medals, you're still a champion." Sarah's eyes moistened as she read the notes. Maybe it was time to take out those Olympic medals and look at them, not because of glory, but because of gratitude. That evening at home, Sarah opened the dusty box. The 3 gold medals were still shining, but now she looked at them from a different perspective. These weren't just achievements. They were responsibilities. The next day when she came to the gym, Sarah had made a decision. "Mike," she said, "that coaching position, maybe it could be part-time?" Mike smiled. "Of course." Sarah Williams wasn't rediscovering her Olympic champion identity. She was transforming that identity as a mentor, teacher, source of inspiration. And for the first time in a long time, Sarah truly felt at home.